So I'm here today to really give you a snapshot of all the work we've done to evaluate the impact of MOT program with a little bit of science behind it. And well, I shouldn't say a little bit of science. It is very much grounded in science, but I think all the anecdotes are helpful. It tells us exactly where to look and how to apply our scientific methods. So thank you so much. I think the first thing that we wanted to share with you today is this theory of change. And how we derive this theory of change is we interviewed the program staff as well as the previous iterations of MOT. We asked people, what does MOT do when they get to your schools? And we discovered that what they do is they get to your school, they negotiate entry with you. And then they start to design their interventions. There's a large portion of the MOT program that is already planned and pre-planned, but then when they get to your school, there's still that additional amount of customization, local adaptations that happens. Then they start to train MOT coaches. They identify from your populations where the MOT coaches are, who can be an ideal candidate, and often, from my own observation, I find MOT coaches get into the program not knowing what's in store for them, but they leave the program absolutely changed. So it seems like MOT is not only a program for the participants, the learners, it also seems to be a program for developing educators. So there's for the people, the colleagues that are from the Western Cape Education Department, if you want to really develop a workforce for the future, this is how you future-proof your workforce. What happens? During the course of MOT's program, they develop some outcomes. Last year, we did a similar kind of study. It was a quantitative study with all the learners at a high school level. And what we found is they have improved attendance at school. They start to want to come to school despite the challenges. Then we found that their school performance improved. We also found that they feel like they're part of holistic learning. And just let me give you a sense of why this is so important. I don't know if some of you are aware of the concept of busing in America in the 60s. So America started to introduce racial integration at schools. And what they did is, they did this by busing children of color into predominantly white schools. What they forgot to do is they forgot to do this kind of change with the educators. And what they found after many years of impact evaluation is that if you leave the educators out of this equation, you find that you break the bonds of education which enable holistic education, which is what MOT is trying to recreate in these areas. And so what we found is that when you do this, when you start to create holistic education, what you're doing is improving character, and when you improve character, you're building society. And when you're building society, you're doing nation building. And so the impact in disadvantaged communities in which MOT is trying to penetrate, trying to infiltrate, is well-being of learners and optimization of their educational and career opportunities, and then a stable society. And I don't even have to convince you, you're here because you understand today is this investment in stable societies. Okay, so what were the methods that we used to do this evaluation? You know, last year we did this study, this quantitative study with learners from high school. Grade 10 learners are different from TVET learners. TVET learners don't need attendance. They don't sign attendance registers. They don't take attendance. So they're different.